mom always told me that in this world you need to be too kind in order to be kind enough. The story I'm about to tell you, which has been shared at countless family gatherings over the years, really helped me to understand this message. On one of the first days of 3rd grade, my friend Chrissy and I were out at recess playing on the lawn. There was this boy named Brian who was a notorious troublemaker in our class, who was trying to get our attention by teasing us. We were doing a good job of ignoring him, and the next thing I heard was Chrissy yell, "Michelle, duck!" Naturally, I looked to the skies and I was like, "Where?" Before I could realize there was no actual duck, something struck me in the head. I instinctively brought my hand to my head and was met by a look of horror on Chrissy's face. As I brought my hand down, I came to realize that it was completely covered in blood. I guess that Brian thought he could get our attention by throwing a stick in our direction, but it ended up hitting me. So the two of us went and found the recess monitor, and I asked if she could take me to the office. To get there, however, I had to walk down the busiest sidewalk of the playground. There were kids all over it, playing jump rope, hopscotch, coloring with chalk, you name it. When their eyes landed on me, however, they fell silent and parted like the Red Sea. Now, my head didn't hurt too bad at this point, but everyone's reactions were kind of freaking me out. I don't know if you guys realize this, but head wounds tend to bleed profusely. By the time I got in the office, the secretary had called my mom and the paramedics, who both came quickly. I remember being really concerned that I'd gotten blood on my favorite butterfly t-shirt, and also that being embarrassed by the huge gauze turban that they put on my head. Also, I was afraid to ride in the ambulance to the emergency room, so my principal offered to drive my mom and I there himself. At the hospital, my dad met us and sat with me as I got multiple shots of Novocaine and 20 stitches and 2 layers in my scalp, which left me with a pretty nice scar. At the hospital, the police met us and asked my family whether or not we would like to press charges against Brian. Yeah, my parents were pretty concerned about my injury, but they knew that I was all right, and they reminded me that Brian didn't come from a very happy home. I knew that he hadn't hurt me on purpose, so instead of taking action like a lot of people might have, I decided to simply accept his apology. Looking back, I'm always glad that I forgave Brian, because I know if I hadn't, it would have made his life that much harder. I guess the moral of my story is, it never hurts to be a little too kind, and if somebody yells duck, they probably mean the verb.